What's up, everybody? This is Sploosh, and I'm here with...
Ceramic again.
Yep, and we're going to talk to you today about Mass Effect 3, the ending, which means massive, massive spoilers. It'll probably be all over the video, but just, right now, just stop watching if you ever intend on playing Mass Effect at all, ever.
Yeah.
So, that being said, we're going to talk about the ending, which I didn't know at the time, but now I know there is a huge uproar about the ending, and people are upset and everything. Yeah, so anyway, let's get going. The ending.
Yeah, the ending. Being such a hardcore fan, it was hard just because it was the end of the series. And when I first got there, I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on because the whole time in my head I'm thinking, this is it. This is the end of Mass Effect for me. Like, I can't believe I'm already here, and it's almost like you're being deflated because what else is after this, you know? But when I first did it, I didn't really get what was going on, and I couldn't really absorb what happened, and then I ultimately made the choice to have a utopia between the organics and machines. I mean, I had submitted to the fact in my Mass Effect 2 playthrough that my Shepard was going to die.
Yeah, I remember you saying it. There's only one ending for my Shepard.
I likened it to like people who go to war and can't assimilate to regular life when they come back. I mean, this is Shepard. He's done that on a galactic scale. The secrets that he knows, the stuff he's seen, how can he go back to a regular life and raise kids and live happily ever after? There's no way. So I pretty much resigned myself to the fact that my Shepard was on a suicide mission at the end of Mass Effect 3. So when I chose that, I wasn't really disappointed with it because he died. And it seems a lot of people are up in arms because there is no
what exactly did you do to become Utopia? Was that where you jump in the beam and then you become Reaper, brain melded, and then convince the Reapers to let...
Well, according to that Catalyst kid, he tells you that you jump in the light and the Crucible absorbs your essence or whatever and creates unity between organics and machines.
Based on your personality or something like that.
I guess, yeah.
That's what I got out of it from what I was hearing. But I want to back up what you said about you actually think your Shepard's dead for a minute because he collapses and the thing raises him up.
Yeah.
And I'd say at that moment I had some question marks about what's going on. And we were talking about how everything feels like the ending. You're like, this is the last battle, and then you're pep talking. It seems like you're pep talking literally 6 times on Earth. It's like you're pep talking ahead of Earth, then you're pep talking on Earth, then it's like you go and do 2 seconds on that cannon, then you're pep talking again, and then
I remember when you talk to Hackett and he says, "Are you ready to assault the server space?" I'm like, I can't believe this is the
right. Even earlier than that.
That was 4 hours before you even get to the end.
It's true.
But every battle, I mean, the server space wasn't really that big of an ending, but when you get to...
But you're feeling the momentum.
So when you get to the Elizabeth Man's lair and you got to fight Kai Lang there, they could have made that an end battle. Mm-hmm. Not for this game, but if it was any other game, that would have been the end battle.
Right. You know what? That's a good point, because I pictured you're going to get the Elusive Man, and then instantly the fleet of bad aliens, whatever. Because at that point you don't know the Citadel's at Earth.
Right.
And you're picturing they're warping in, and then there's this big fight, and it's like the Death Star, and there's stuff flying outside the window, and then it ends.
Right. I had no idea that. Well, I shouldn't say I had no idea, but I at that time forgot that we'd eventually have to get back to Earth. I knew that going in that we'd eventually come back to Earth, but at the time when I was at the server's place, I'm like, this is it. I just completely forgot that we needed to get back to Earth. So there was another fake.
You called it the Three Kings, right? Or is that what that one was called? The last Lord of the Rings? The Kings?
Return of the King.
Return of the King. I tell you a story Dan told me. Did Dan ever tell you this story?
Probably not.
His dad is kind of... I don't know. His dad, I guess, didn't like the movie or didn't like it that much.
Yeah.
But he told me the story where he went to the movies with his dad, which he doesn't do very often. And literally his dad, every time a moment would happen in the movie, he'd get up. Because I guess he's not the credit watcher that some people are.
Yeah.
And then it would keep going, and then he'd sit back down. And then he'd get up, and then he'd keep going, and he'd sit back down.
Yeah, because that movie just goes on for an hour, and it was just ending after ending.
It's a good analogy, though, isn't it? I mean, it's pretty similar.
I mean, this game is similar like that. But
so anyway, the boy's just rambling on. it's like 4:30 in the morning for me.
I know.
I got work the next day, or the day, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like, what's he saying, what's he saying?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, do you want me to just tell my experience? Or?
Yeah, because mine was different.
Yeah, like, so, I really had no idea what the kid was saying, but I was, like, listening, kind of, and then thinking, oh, I don't like that one. Alright, what's the next option? I don't really like that one.
Yeah.
What's the next option? I don't know, I don't really like that one. And then it's like, okay, go pick. And then, you know, I'm looking at the big beam in front of me, and then Shepard's, like, crippled, so he's walking, like, 1 mile per hour. So I start walking towards the middle, thinking, like, oh, well, there'll be, like, a final dialogue, and it'll say A, B, C. And then I got to, like, 2 minutes into walking, halfway there. Oh, crap, like, I'm nervous. And then, like, I decide to look around, maybe get a vantage. Like, I'm not even sure if I'm going the right way. Like, I'm like, what if, like, behind the kid was an option?
Well, because the levels is designed, it's really disorienting.
Because remember, there was a flashback where the elusive man grabs the 2 handle things, and when I turned around to look at the boy, there was like this thing that looked like 2 handles, but there was no electricity, and I figured, you know, like, I'll grab it and then the electricity would fly out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh crap. And then I'm like, well, what was the option with the electricity? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm like, well, maybe I can talk to the boy and he'll tell me everything again. So I start walking towards the boy, and the game instantly kills me. Okay, please don't make me do the cutscenes again. And then it warps me back in the reset, and the boy's gone, and I'm standing where he was, and I have the whole thing right in front of me. Like, I'm like, which way do I go?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just go towards the middle again. So I'm walking towards the middle, and then there's a ramp left and ramp right. I have no idea what that means. So for some reason, I had the image in my head of the hands grabbing something, and I looked left and I saw the 2 grabbing things, and I went for it. I don't even know, like, people say blue ending, green ending, red ending or something.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I only just now, just recently got it, but I don't even know to this moment, like, what ending I even picked. And that's horrible, as, like, you just played so many, like, you played there 3 games, you played for, like, what, 80 hours?
Yeah.
And you're at the end, and it's like, what did I just do? You know, like, I felt so cheated. You're so excited, this is the end. This is the conclusion of your Shepard, the most important decision in the entire game forever.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what I'm doing. It was so... Oh, and then I hit start. I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'll just run it over again. Start and load and all that was grayed out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is how everyone plays the game or how I played it. I never once went back. Every decision I made, it was permanent. Because I figured that was legit. Like, that's my Shepard. And the only moment I thought of doing it was at that moment. It wouldn't even let me do it. And maybe, I don't even know if I could check my journal. At the time, I was too consumed.
Yeah, I was just too inundated with the fact that this is the end. Like, what is... Like, I'm deciding the fate of this character that I've carried through 3 games.
Yeah, I read a lot of threads on Game FAQ where people said they lost sleep, like, the night after they played that game.
It was just... It was overwhelming for me. I got it in... And I chose my ending, and I just sat there. I put the control down. I just, like, sat there and stared. I'm like, what just... It's over.
But... And you were cool, because, like, I mean, and I know you said there was a little confusion with, like, the plane flying and what the hell that was.
Yeah, at the time, I didn't really take it all in, but after the fact, I'm like, why is the Normandy flying in another solar system? Didn't they drop me off? Like, why? Like, how much time has passed?
And didn't Shepard say something like, don't go far or stay safe and nearby or something?
Mm-hmm.
And Joker said something like, okay, sir, no problem?
Maybe, but... And then they just show the Normandy somewhere else outrunning, which for me was a green, like, shockwave. And then they're in some other solar system.
And you had who come out of your ship?
I had Edie and Joker come out of my ship.
And that's it?
It was somebody, I think it was somebody
Garrus,
else, but I don't really remember.
Okay.
I just remember seeing Joker and Edie.
And you're like, that's cool.
I'm like, that makes sense to the ending. And Joker had, like, some weird, like, green stuff on his face, because he was, like, part machine now, I guess.
And the Penny Arcade guy called them Adam and Eve on their new planet, which wasn't Earth.
Yeah.
And in my ending, I didn't get Adam and Eve. I got, like, Adam and Adam. Because I had...
Adam and Steve.
Yeah, Adam and Steve. I had Joker, the DLC Javik guy, and Garrus. And I don't get why, because Garrus wasn't with me in my party. But Javik was, and then, damn, I don't even remember who the last guy I picked was. I think it was, like, I think I picked Jaden. Is that his name?
Javik?
No, Javik, and then the dude that's not Ashley.
Okay.
Caden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Caden with me. Cause I don't know why, it just seemed like Caden, like, I didn't even like Caden in Mass Effect 1, but for some reason he really grew on me in this one. Like, he seemed to have more of a personality to me.
Yeah.
But, and you know, the whole the hospital thing, I felt like he was like under my wing, like my apprentice or something. And then he like asked me to join my crew. I'd be like, and I'm like, you know what, he deserves to be here in the last battle.
Well, I think he's more of the two that die on Burnmeyer, he's the more fleshed out character and has a better story than Ashley.
I don't know Ashley's story, but yeah. I think they did a great job with him in the third one. He reminded me of the dude from 24, like crazy, but that's another story. So I don't know, so I got 3 dudes landing on a ship.
Yeah.
I don't know even where was everybody else? Like,
so
how did they get on the ship? Like,
needless to say, there are questions that people need to be answered. I'm more curious about just why that ship is somewhere else. That's really the only question I had at the time. So, I mean, a few days have passed. I had started another playthrough. You still hadn't beaten it by this point, so I didn't really say anything to you. But then when you finally beat it, we, discussed.
We had a talk, or 3.
And,
But you said you were happy with the ending.
I was.
Do you want to, like, defend that as we were talking before, or?
Well, it just goes to my point that I didn't need my shepherd to live. I wasn't expecting a happy ending. I wasn't expecting him to live, so aside from a couple, I would say minor questions to the ending, I was completely fine with it. Because I got what I wanted.
So how about we do like a Q&A here, because you know I have questions.
I'll try
Number 1, like, do you feel like they could have handled the ending more, just like lead you better as to like what you were even choosing? Like, as an interface complaint, like, couldn't have it just been less confusing? Did they want that confusion? Was that their goal?
I think, for reasons that we'll get into later, that's the point.
That you're confused?
That you're not supposed to really know what's going on. Because of the theory that we now believe. Do
you think that they felt like if they handheld you more, it would dilute the point of the ending?
I think so.
It's risky business. And that's what I want to say. Like, what about the whole argument I have about consumers? When you go into a movie or you buy a video game, a movie's the best example. Because, like, some people like horror movies and some people will never go in a horror movie. I'm actually one of those people. For some reason, I don't like horror movies. But some people, like, it's like they, like, live for them. And, okay, think about it. When you live for horror movies and you go to a horror movie, your expectations are there that there will be horror and you might get afraid. Some people like to be afraid. Some people like to pretend they're not afraid. I don't know. But there's an expectation emotionally to the moment. And do you feel like, I guess you as a consumer were okay with it. And maybe, I know you had an explanation for why. I mean, you're saying, like, the fact that too many games are happy.
Yeah, see, I'm in a different camp when it comes to endings. I really don't like a happy ending because I don't think it's real. Real life doesn't end happy a lot of the times. So when I see a happy ending to a game that is on a global scale or galactic scale where the guy's just like, alright, I saved the day, guess I'm punching out and going back home, like, that just doesn't resonate with me. So I guess they should have had an option where you could get that ending. I think the problem with a lot of people is there is no ending like that for them to get. And
that's my argument. Why, if with so many choices, and isn't there like 5 endings or something or more? It's actually, like, from reading that book, there's like Earth lives, Earth doesn't live,
but
Shepard lives, Shepard doesn't live.
In every ending, the relays explode,
which is huge.
Which doesn't make sense to me because in the Arrival DLC, destroying the mass relay destroyed the system of the relay. So
really,
if you
but maybe they found a way to not destroy the relay that destroys the whole system of the relay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's another question I have.
Because there's like a relay in like every system,
exactly.
Isn't there?
So if you destroyed every relay, you're destroying every system. But I guess.
But that's another tangent. I mean,
guess
that's kind of a lore complaint.
Right. So I mean, like I said, I guess I'm just a lucky player that got the ending that I guess I was going towards.
Picture yourself as like my dad. You know him.
Yeah.
Viewers don't. But my dad is not a gamer, but he's a gamer enough to play games. He's going to play this game one time. I mean, what are the odds that he's going to get an ending he will like? And
he won't, because
isn't that though the job of BioWare to like make sure everyone gets what they want? Like if you want your like dreary ending, then like why isn't that an option? And then for like the guy who's willing to go out of I don't even feel like you should have to, like I don't feel like I should have to have the perfect fleet and the perfect this and the perfect everything to get the ending I want, because I feel like that's kind of lame too. Because what if my dad, he wants to see Earth live, he wants the Reapers to just go away, even if the Reapers don't die, he just wants the Reapers to go away, and then he saved his people.
Right.
Most people want that ending, let's be honest.
Right.
And
more power to them. I'm not knocking the fact
they
that
shouldn't
want that
have to struggle that hard to get it. And as consumers, just like going into a horror movie, why did we invest so much time in saving everybody and then everybody's dead? I don't know if I'm kind of assuming people know what I'm talking about, but like one of the big arguments is there's like something like 12 or 14 fleets outside of Earth with no way to go home. There's no resources on Earth, and there's no inhabitable planets in our system. They're gonna all kill each other,
right? Because according
overeat each other, or just die of starvation.
Exactly. But we're stepping closer and closer to pretty much the main point of this whole.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to go, just to conclude though, my point is an expectation of emotion. It was with, I think as consumers and as someone producing for consumers and investing as much time as we've invested, it's actually almost a sign of respect or something to that effect to respect your consumer enough not to come up with like too much of a witty ending that's going to jade your people.
But I also think it's the right of the company to do something that artistic if they want to do it.